Next is from Theo Convo. Subject is Ric Flair's eyebrow. Hey there, K100 fam. I recently listened to the episode of Don Fry and Dan Severn's podcast featuring Brian Knobs as a guest. And there's an interesting moment I wanted to ask you about. During the odd interview, things got a bit awkward between Don and Brian as they exchanged verbal jabs. Also, Brian expressed his gratitude for being on the podcast multiple times, starting this 10 minutes into the over 40-minute interview, almost as if he was ready to wrap up each time, but they continued with more questions. It was during this final exchange that Brian mentioned he was wrongly blamed for shaving off Ric Flair's eyebrow, clarifying that it was actually Mr. Perfect involved in that incident. I'm curious if you are familiar with the story, if you could provide some further details or insight into what happened. Thank you so much, as always. That's TK from Seattle. Um, so Flair got his eyebrows shaved on a flight one time, right? And everybody
That's
thought it
pretty
was
ballsy.
everybody thought it was the Nasty Boys. But Mr. Perfect being the one that actually did it is perfect because that's the
Right.
type of guy he would be the guy that would do the rib and then like
Blame it
announce
on
like, hey, we
somebody
got,
else.
or just try to like, hey, we got to find out what happened here, guy.
Right.
He'd be
Right.
he would do the rib
Right.
and then be
Right.
the investigator.
Right. He was like Juventud Guerrera. Juventud would steal your wallet and then help you look for it. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Like the
Right.
suspect is the investigator, the one
Right.
investigating the crime, right?
Yeah.
Can you
Oh, he
tell
was
us?
great.
I think
Classic ball.
I remember one time Iron Sheik was in the dressing room and somebody had stolen his towel or hid it. And it was Sid Vicious of all people.
Mm.
And Sid Vicious was like, oh, nobody's gonna leave the locker room till we find that towel. And Iron Sheik was like, it's okay, baby. It's not a big deal. No. F- that. We're gonna find out who took Sheik's, and it was him. Which was great.
Right.
didn't
Right.
one of you guys tell the story about Hennig did that to Kidman? Like he took his jean shorts that he wore to the ring, and nobody knew it was him at the time, but he was doing that thing that you're saying, where like he's obviously the culprit, but he's walking around going, "All right, who's the did this? Come on, guys, this is over the line and all that." But it was him with Kidman's shorts,
Right.
My favorite is when he handcuffed David Penzer's suitcase to the roof. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Next is from Matt Miller, and the subject is RFK Jr. Hey guys, thanks for all the great content. The page.
They don't really do ribs anymore, by the way,
No, they
Disco.
No.
Yeah.
you don't hear.
Hey guys,
anymore.
well that's because nobody.
Somebody would probably go to human relations. They don't have a sense of humor anymore.
I'll tell you what. If cell phones weren't so advanced and there wasn't social media to take up everybody's time, everybody would probably be doing ribs.
Yeah,
because bro, we didn't have exactly. We had to fill our time.
But this
with
is a way.
life
But this is a
things,
way
like,
more
right.
easily offended, sensitive culture.
For sure.
You still couldn't do it, even if there were no cameras.
Right. Next is from Corey Springer. He does no subject, but we'll find out what this is about here. Yo, K100 crew, question for Conan and Disco. Who's your favorite talent to work with? To clarify, who'd you have the most chemistry in the ring with? And is there a match you remember that direct us to? We'd love to see what great chemistry looks like firsthand for y'all. It could be who made you look great or who you sold for really well. Also had Joe Feeney and Chris Jericho best friends. Apparently went to different schools together, and Feeney's actually a ghostwriter for Fozzy. Feeney, please confirm. Wish y'all the best, and thanks for producing great content. Me and Conan actually had good chemistry. They weren't like 4-star matches or something, but we would go out there and do very entertaining stuff like mic work before the match and spots and stuff. We always get a good pop. Had good chemistry with Alex Wright. Had good chemistry with Jericho. Had good chemistry with Eddie. I had good chemistry.
The Juice.
What? Yeah. Had good chemistry with Hoovy.
Kidman.
Me and Kidman had good chemistry out there. We had some good matches. How about you, Conan?
Yeah, kind of the same people you just said. Eddie, you, Ray, and I would say like in Mexico for the Lucha Libre fans, without a doubt, Perro Aguayo, Pirata Morgan, Jerry Estrada, Negro Casas.
Yeah. Next one's from Garth F. Killing Machine. Subject is heels. I was listening to a recent Vince Russo interview in a podcast. He was talking about Jeff Jarrett. He said that Jeff Jarrett was so good at being a heel that it more or less damaged his overall career. He said that Jarrett had people hating him so much that the public would actually stop watching him on TV or buying tickets, despite him being such a great wrestler. What do you think of Russo's opinion? Does he have a point, or was Jeff Jarrett just kind of not good enough to be pushed? That's a weird take. I don't know.
I can tell you that I had friends that would
good.
specifically turn the channel if Jeff was on.
Why?
Back in the day, they hated him. They hated him that. You know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what it was because I was there. He was just overexposed, and people got tired of him. And like I remember one time when Monty Brown was getting over, and instead of feuding with Monty Brown, he made him join his group, and he was kind of like a lackey for him. That and like the smart fans, which were just starting to explode around that time, it was like, look at what Jeff did to Monty, and so he had heat. He was overexposed, like, and that's what happened.
It's the same thing with that Raven title match was around that time. That smart fans, which were, I mean, who else was buying Impact weekly pay-per-views, They wanted Raven to win the belt, and Jeff,
Jeff did not like Raven, if you remember.
Right, Jeff was
but Raven did it to himself too. But go ahead.
I hear that a lot.
Well, and he like made his name like wrestling in the South, and like there's a definite obviously.
Well, we were in the South.
No, but I'm saying the emergence of ECW in the North, that type of style of like that,
right?
That created a fan base, and it's mostly smart marks. The old school fans were kind of like still the Jeff Jarrett, the old school audience and everything. So when you had those worlds meeting each other, obviously you create, because you have Raven fans from ECW, now with the Southern fans, so it was just an interesting dynamic, which actually created a lot of the drama, if you think about it. Next is from also Garrison. The subject is ego. It's been well reported that Stone Cold Steve Austin was supposed to make an appearance and have a match at WrestleMania 39 and do something with LA Knight. Austin said at the time that he couldn't do it as he didn't have enough time to train. That he was very happy with how the WrestleMania stuff with Kevin Owens happened, and that he was filming another TV show that clashed with WrestleMania 39. Thing is, he has since also mentioned in interviews that he wasn't coming back from WrestleMania 39 just to do the job for someone. Now, I think we all know that even if LA Knight was booked to go over Austin, Stone Cold would have beat him down after the match, drank the beers, hit the stunner, celebrated, etc. My question is, what do you think about how in 2023 Stone Cold is having problems with doing jobs? Austin putting LA Knight over would have helped everyone. It's not like he would ruin his legacy. What do you guys think? Bro, this is all nonsense. There's no way this is a credible report of a story of anything that happened here. I didn't hear this. Did you hear anything about this?
No.
Like they were going to have him job to LA Knight? Come on, that's crazy.
No.
This guy's reporting it like that, like that's a true story. It's ridiculous.
And there's some articles here that say Austin spoke in the night and given him advice recently, says he's a big fan, stuff like that. That doesn't mean he wouldn't have wanted to go to WrestleMania and wrestle him or whatever, but, I think that was just rumors. I don't think that was ever close to happening.
Next one's from Mark Montanaro. And the subject is Dave Meltzer, AEW Bucks model, men's AEW The Young Bucks adult costume from Walmart.com. Pull the picture up. This is actually a funny picture. Mm-hmm. Crew, what do you think of Meltzer's The Young Bucks costume model at Walmart?
Stupid thing. There it is. Oh,
make it bigger?
That's it. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
That's tremendous. They should put next to him Tony Khan when he was just like Orange Cassidy. Nothing.
Yeah, right. They should. Next is from Lion McCarthy, subject is Bloodline. Hey guys, I know you're not a fan of guest bookers, and I don't plan on this, but after what happened on SmackDown, I guess it's going to be a tag team with Usos versus Roman and Solo. How would you book it? I may be crazy thinking Michael Cole said the end of the Bloodline as we know it suggests to me that there may be new family members, but how would you go? I don't know. We'll discuss this. We'll discuss this when we do our review of the show, Liam. So reference our SmackDown review. Next is from Eddie Hogan, and the subject is Ripley done. What's up, K100? Has come out the reason for Rhea Ripley's weird squash match win at WWE Night of Champions was due to Ripley having a recurring knee injury, which has something to do with her kneecap popping out of place. What I'd like to know for you guys is, how do you handle this backstage? Personally, I think that Rhea Ripley may be the best female wrestler in the world right now. If you can't rely on a talent to actually be able to get in the ring, you don't really need them on your roster. K100 team, Should WWE consider releasing her from her deal? Should they have her drop the title while she heals up? And do you move her down the card and focus on pushing someone else? What's a smart move here, guys? Where is this story from? Joe, do you know anything about this story?
You're
Is Joe
muted,
here?
dude.
I did hear she was injured, but I didn't hear anything about its severity. But I'll look it up.
Look it
right
up.
now. Yeah.
Because we may have to flag this for misinformation.
Bro, you don't release her from her deal.
course
She
not.
goes and she gets
Yeah.
surgery.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This just says that Rhea, she did have a dislocated knee, and it's kind of like a reoccurring injury. But it doesn't say
Right.
anything about that she's out or anything like that. I don't know. So
Next is from John Kamapa, and the subject is Nash. Kevin Nash's podcast, much like you guys, gets plagued with people asking the exact same questions over and over again. Last week on his show, Kevin Nash was asked a groundbreaking question. If he were to manage a new NWO and WWE, who would his 3 picks be? Nash chose Dolph, Strowman, and Baron Corbin. Now, those wouldn't be my personal choices, but what do you guys think of Nash's picks? It's fine.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a new NWO, and it's when he makes it wouldn't. I don't know. It wouldn't work. Why?
Yeah.
Maybe if Nash was mad.
Think about that. That guy was just saying that he gets asked the same dumb questions, and he took one of his questions. That's what we think of the questions.
Yeah.
Next from RGX, subject is Ryback versus Aldis. Greetings, crew. Recently, Ryback posted on his Twitter he plans to have a return match in the UK in the near future. It got me thinking. What better way for the big guy to showcase himself for a potential Goldberg match than to kick his return off with a quality opponent like Nick Aldis in a hot market like the UK? What you say? Sincerely, that's RGX from Yay Arena. Yeah, that'd be good because I think Nick could sell.
Do you know where the Yay area is?
No.
San Francisco, Oakland. The Yay.
Oh, is it really? Oh.
Yeah.
Nick could do good promos for that. So could Ryback. I think that would draw. What do you think? Anybody?
Yeah, that would draw, or maybe even Will Ospreay.
What do you think about him trying to call Goldberg out?
Why not?
I mean, you think that's got a possibility of ever happening?
For the right price, yeah. There's a lot of mark promoters a day that might pay the money. Next is from Austin. Subject is the tumbling spot on Dynamite. As someone who's been listening to this since the early MLW days, I just wanted to write in and say how disappointed I am in Conan's defense of that childish nonsense tumbling drill spot on Dynamite. Those luchadors are lame and make Lucha look ridiculous. If that's a spot, no wonder Lucha can't draw in America. They don't even have a finish to the sequence. They just jump over each other until they stop. If this was 1998 and Conan told Eric, hey, check out these guys, and they started jumping over each other, he would have been embarrassed. What a disgrace! And that's from Austin. Conan, do you have any comments here to Austin's take on the tumbling spot?
I could give a what Austin thinks. Lucha hasn't drawn because the right person hasn't promoted it. And look at Lucha Underground, how good that was doing. But they didn't know what the they were doing. I've always said it. Doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't know what you're doing. This is a Lucha spot. I didn't invent it. They do it. People in Mexico like it. And one day will draw and you'll look like a bigger than you already do. Nothing.
Next is from Ramon Sanchez. The subject is future commentating. Good evening, fellas. 2 questions. What are your opinions on having talents, personalities like Punk, Daniel Bryan, and LA Knight becoming color commentators in the future? To all 3, I ask, which 3 current talents at WWE and AEW can you guys see as future commentators? I don't know. Anybody can be a good commentator.
Punk and Bryan, before Punk got hurt or anything, he was jumping on commentary here and there. Bryan's on there pretty regularly, right?
Yeah, like MJF, Starks.
Knight would be good. Jericho's good.
Yeah. Anybody could be good,
That's not an easy job. I wouldn't say anybody, but usually the guys that can talk the best are the best commentators.
Right.
You know what's weird about that is, like, everybody loves Arn and his interviews and stuff, but when they tried him out as a color guy for the new WCW under the WWE banner, like, they yanked him from that immediately because it just didn't click with him for some reason. It didn't sound right,
Yeah.